Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that.
Na poko hoko ye den. Bawumia meet the press naseno. Na poko ye den wo ho.
Ebani say, ena obi a we sitting vice president. Ye bisa wo asemhia wo manmu a, wo kire se woni ehunu ndia na se woni ne ekoso. Ewo asembisa na se adekra ye bisa wo. Omapani abede kire Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Etunsa edefred journalist and central for wo mo manmu. Se wo mo ene ne hia na o address nsem bi anase issues bi ekoso wo manmu. Nsem bi e hatememfo. Onwa na ye announcement. Say na wo twenwe ya journalist no share no moving pick na asem bi se bia o se bi bia no fabra beto nanim na on chire e bi se na asem de fa Cocoa Board ye nyina nim say e one big institution a wo man di menko ba ko a ye tumi nyiska e di film stapudro pan e tumi nya e free Cocoa Board no na e bi sa no nsem se Cocoa Board se akoye se ekulase so oni mo hwe eno ndan chen e bi sa ne nsem e de fa na ko trainees so na say yes ye de wo ka ban de wo ka wo ba be demonstration wo be tu etua no nti aban ne bibi mfa ho ye bi sa ma pania be de kire ho asem a oso onim sa ban e de na ko trainees ka wo mo ba be ho demonstration ti na afi no me finance minister e kwa kwatena ase na o ma dwe ho no ma hwe no be e de afa ho.
Good evening and thank you so much for the opportunity. I was listening to you respond to some of the questions earlier, and one of my questions was touched on, so I guess I'll move on to the next one. But just to piggyback off job creation, one of the major aspects of job creation under the MPP is the NAPCO program. And quite recently, you would recall, say that they were threatening to go on a demonstration because they were owed 9 months arrears. Now, even Heal Ghana, and this is something I followed keenly, so I've had conversations with them. Heal Ghana, even before the 9 months, were owed 7 months. And so if you combine the two, they're complaining that they haven't been paid 16 months arrears. And that's a major problem. What do you intend to do about it?
Will you inquire, particularly knowing about the Fourth Estate's investigations dubbed Scholarship Bonanza, about what appears to be a racketeering in that place? And will you forbid and prohibit politically exposed persons wealthy enough, known in society, from accessing these scholarships? Thank you.
To NAPCO, I think that the program had about 100,000 people on it, and I think initially it was supposed to be a 3-year program, and then would be renewed and so on. But I think that so far, out of the 100,000 that were taken, 34,000 have exited into permanent jobs under NAPCO, and the others are still. But I think that the issue that Bella raises is the arrears and how we are going to deal with it. I've raised this issue because this is not really there's some information that has come to me already about the arrears in the NAPCO program, and I've raised this issue with the Minister for Finance and trying to persuade them to make these arrears payments. So we will follow that up on behalf of the NAPCO employees. The second issue had to do with providing better healthcare in the manifesto and the issue of cars and how these will affect local companies. I think that what is very clear when you look at the manifesto is that we did not really say it was only for imported. The incentives would only be for imported vehicles, because you just said you will provide incentives. Clearly, under President Kufuor, there were incentives for healthcare workers and also for teachers to bring in vehicles, and they will waive the import duty, and that basically worked but was abused. We wanted to do these tax reforms, import duty, flat tax, tax amnesty, and so on. But why don't I do it now? And why do I want to? I must have a manifesto. Otherwise, if I do everything now, if I could, what would I do when I come into office? I mean, how can you do everything now? Even President Mahama, former president, who was president, I'm only vice president, but he was president. Why didn't he do everything then? I mean, why is he coming back? He had full authority. I don't have full authority. The budget that has gone to Parliament, which has been passed, is not my budget. Is it my budget? It's not my budget. The budget goes in the name of the president. It doesn't go in the name of the vice president. I seriously believe that statement, that we have failed. Of course, we've had challenges. Nobody can say we haven't had challenges. We have had challenges, serious challenges, challenges that have kept me up at night. In 2022, that was the horrible year for us. 2022, petrol prices went up to 23 cedis per liter. We were losing reserves so badly, and you saw food prices going up and all of that. That was a real challenge that we had to deal with. And this is how we came up with the whole gold for oil, gold purchase program, and that has really helped us. Today, Ghana today, notwithstanding all the challenges, we are the 10th lowest priced in terms of petroleum in Africa, the whole of Africa. Ghana is number 10 in those of lowest prices of petroleum products. Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that. I cannot comment on that. It's not. I don't know where the data is coming from.
Possible day. Say Omampini be the chimwa. No shame could say that's waba at the amount, no baby on my so. In some nebu on my baby sour with smoothing moshi. My drink today and say, Fatu comment section any other for inching. Yet why I said no so dear, the manufacturer say, NPP near NDC dear, quite sacrifice for, I quite say day and night, in the way and I was really, way and way so I be, NPP fire woman lunching we, and this sponsor and say, and I said, I want 3 years. And I also a woman manifesto lunch. Now, on my penny that John Dramani Mahama. I brought no castle lunch last no. Now or compare and nay, and let's say NPP are buying our sweet. And I brought not on no buying, I was to send a nema is for airport, try and a year brepa, never boy a ding. Now, and I'm so a brown penny abedi tree. Don't some hound Bawumia, a castle, let's say, a won't say on my moiety. I don't know how I jiatu, same now so a brand NDC amanyopo exsono otira John Dramani Mahama na ban sono eno de na echen ne kura echen ne ogitumo say ne ye ho kire ye na so eye.
So if according to him we have mismanaged the economy in the midst of a global crisis, if our mismanaged economy is outperforming you in virtually every sector. This economy that you are saying has been mismanaged. We are performing you in GDP growth, in per capita income, in gross international reserves, in every sector, roads, hospitals, schools, everything. Free SHS, all of that. If this is the mismanaged economy, that is outperforming you in your economy that had no global crisis. No crisis at all. But you couldn't afford chalk. You couldn't afford chalk. But there was no crisis. So if our mismanaged economy is performing better than your better managed economy, then in that case, you must not have been very good. Let me put it mildly. I was going to say incompetent. Because our bad economy it's much better than your good economy. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Na everybody say and our family no. We compare. Na so omai ye won niema ahodo a ehia e wo say mpanifo no ehwe na etumi ekoye ni. Ade na afamily no wo hwe enum. Why don't they focus on that one? Makabos. Ade na wo enhwe enum. Niema ehia omai mu. Omai ehia niema bebre. Ye wo sika no. Indua no ye duadua bebre nyame ache niema bebre. Aye betumi ahwe so. Akra ne ye na omai yakoye ni. Ade na yepenifu yi wo mo enhwe enum. Esa kwa se be katwi, we katwi, we kawo. Yento yense so e. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia the press conference of Frey. Nene se mo de two day nyina echi. Amanfo aba kasa. Titu ene napko ene eye cocoa board nsema amanfo bisa na akoye se na ontumi enya no ye na amanfo so aba bonti Ghana for the wa wuni obeka bibi na wanka ne ye amanfo be twi o ma no awo yenko ti amanfo nsem.
Yesterday, the Vice President of the Republic and the MPP's flag bearer, he met some of the press, not all of the press. I'll explain in a bit. And let me also place on record that so far, Alan Tremantin and his movement for change as an independent candidate was the first to have ever given us a manifesto, the Great Transformational Plan. Record, fact. And then the MPP gave us a manifesto, number 2. And then the NDC recently, last Saturday, gave us a manifesto, 3. The NDC in between, when the MPP launched its manifesto, and when they launched their main manifesto, give us the youth manifesto, fact. Now, Alan Tremantin has had a media encounter. John Mahama has had a media encounter. Dr. Bawumia has had a media encounter. Alan Tremantin's media encounter invited the press, sent out invitations, followed up with calls. John Mahama's media encounter also sent out invitations and followed up with calls. It was only Dr. Bawumia who says, if you want to attend my media invitation, my media encounter, apply through email, whatever it is. I don't know who the strategists are. And then when people applied, they were rejected, even though they are pressmen.
President Mwaye bisa question, or say I have no idea, I'll do follow up. And then the Vice President now we do the same.
Na po ko hoko ye den. Bawumia meet the press naseno. Na po ko ye den wo ho. O mate fu fra ye de waba. Se loading boy aye de waba. O mate ye explanation ye bisa na question na ototo papa so. O bet nasene wa hwa asua bi no. Wada. Waache. What does say hati? What's it with us yada? Uri anso wa what's up peja oti ewiem wa hwe nyankopon ni mada. Just the ekos wo hobia na po antehwiu.
Ebusianti edumedi and am the ebesom mo e was 7MTV network eso ma mefa nnase a esombo enkoma home safe trust GH Dumekoi air construction company on Sigan and the Magana for more acquaintance. Nehian so the Fanabana Echigo now no woman, Eddie Inkitamo, a month for a dig woman one dance, a son say, Womo bought a drumapa, Fanabano for a woman, send up a soul school dino, and no woman ending Kitamo, one band is a pepe, Eddie Amausi school dine, a warehouse, hospital, single room, store building, send up penny beer, home safe trust, woman, and not at so. Fanabano na ene womo entwetwe nkomo obetumi ahwe womo dwumedie dodo na ewa YouTube and Facebook Home Safe Trust GH Congress records esmasne amam de tebidu Congress records as ne am de te dwumadi aba abesom afa Nneoma Foundation e de wo ahofama time echi na de dwumadi aba abesom abibia me am de dwumadi ho kya ne din e de nana ya nyameche emre ntia ha na de dwumadi e besi dasane ye the sign ishia